The man alleging he's the son of JayZ's making more headlines than ever, Rymir Satterthwaite's been trading legal traps with the Rock Nation founder, with details spilling out across court docs surrounding his allegation.
JayZ has faced scandals before. He has battled rumors, confronted betrayal, and even survived the public humiliation of infidelity scandals that played out across headlines and albums.
We know about the person suing a billionaire media mogul. For one, Rymir's lawsuit alleges JayZ ignored repeated calls for a paternity test. Per Rymir and his godmother's legal filings, Rymir's mother Wanda allegedly engaging in a brief romance with a pre-famed Jay, who allegedly fathered Rymir with, at the time, a 16-year-old Wanda, who has since died. Rymir's team accusing Jay of tampering with legal proceedings, misusing his high-profile influence with public officials, along with claiming Jay's never outright denied he's Rymir's biological father. Meanwhile, Jay's new filing contends Rymir's lawsuit's just the latest in decades-long harassment. Inside the June 16th court docs obtained by E! News, Jay's attorney said the fabricated allegations and claims have been addressed and rejected in multiple other courts. Jay's team also saying they attempted contact with Rymir's godmother and co-plaintiff, but she hung up after they called to request more time to prepare their response. E! News has reached out to both JayZ and Rymir for comment, but has not yet heard back.
What's going on? It's been a crazy couple weeks, y'all. I want to let y'all know that I have not stopped my fight. You know, I did withdraw my case. It's for a reason, y'all. It's not because I'm stopping with it or not going to refile it or anything like that. It's just a lot going on behind closed doors. Hey, we got to step back and play chess, not checkers, so.
E! News has reached out to JayZ's rep for comment about Rymir's withdrawal but hasn't heard back. However, in the June 16th court filing obtained by E! News, attorneys for the Grammy winner, whose real name is Sean Carter, slammed Rymir's paternity allegations. The documents read, "The fabricated allegations and claims have been addressed and rejected in multiple other courts," adding that the federal lawsuit was just the latest in what JayZ's counsel described as decades-long harassment. Furthermore, JayZ's lawyers alleged Rymir's federal suit was not properly served, saying that the music mogul, who shares kids Blue Ivy and twins Rumi and Sir with wife Beyoncé, did not learn of its existence until 1 month after it was filed in May. In their response to Rymir's lawsuit, JayZ's attorney asked the court for additional time to evaluate the complaint and determine how to respond or otherwise plead. For his part, Rymir said in his complaint that he was not suing for reparational child support, but for damages related to emotional distress and reputational harm after JayZ allegedly committed fraud upon multiple courts, misrepresented facts, interfered with procedural due process, and exploited legal systems in multiple jurisdictions to suppress plaintiff Rymir's.
But nothing, not even his vast empire of wealth, power, and influence, could prepare him for this moment. This is not gossip. This is not speculation. This is the kind of truth that tears down walls, the kind of revelation that cannot be spun, denied, or drowned out by lawyers and PR teams. Because now, after years of whispers, decades of denials, and countless attempts to bury the story, a paternity test has shattered everything. It confirms what JayZ has long fought to keep hidden. Rymir is his son. The courtroom was tense. Not the kind of tension that comes with drama or theatrics, but the kind that weighs on your chest, where every breath feels heavy and every sound cuts through the silence like a blade. On one side sat Rymir, the young man who has spent years fighting for recognition. On the other side sat JayZ, the billionaire, the mogul, the icon. The results were read aloud, cold, clinical, undeniable. The numbers told the story, and science doesn't bend to fame, fortune, or influence.
Your father, I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do. Like it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair. I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she been saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it JayZ, and I really didn't know who that was because I was young. And you know, had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father, and I just want you to know. And she continued to tell me that over the years and over the years and over the years, even till I was grown. He never tried to contact me in any type of way, and that's all I'm asking is, like, because I honestly really want the case to be over with. Like, I've been going through, just like I said, a lot, and as I said, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not trying to do this to make somebody seem like a bad person, a bad father. I'm not trying to make nobody seem like a bad person or nothing. I'm just really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth, and if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really, why are you, what is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life, and I just want it over with. I work every day. I also have my own kids to take care of. So it's like, it's been a journey for me, and it's just like, you know, I just got so much on my name right now. I never asked for money. I don't do interviews just saying, hey, JayZ, give me your money, or I'm coming at the JayZ for his money. I never did that. I'm not that type of person. I work for everything. Next is, I'm just trying to basically make sure no other kids or nobody else in the world has to go through this. Basically, don't feel afraid to go to court and see if a person is your biological parents. You know, so many people are scared, and this is a big thing in the world. A lot of people don't have their fathers because they scared to go out and search for them, and sometimes it only take a little search. You know, go search, and if it's wrong, we're adults. Well, most of us adults, even for the teenagers, it's this being a role model for them, showing you can go in the courtroom, and if you're doing everything correctly, you should be able to just get treated as equal as the other person. I've always been a person that I never hate anyone. I never, I don't walk around with hate for a person. So I try to teach my kids that just be the best that you can be. So that's just a motto I go off. I would never hate JayZ. It was never that type thing. I respect him for everything he did. And as I said, I've been going through a whole lot through these years because this case, like me, my mom, my godmom, we didn't seen the worst. We didn't have people, slander my name like you want JayZ money, and I hear it all. I'm going to fight until I'm not here no more, and it's never going to be against no one. Like, I'm going to continue to fight. It'll take another 10 years, maybe another 50, maybe I'll...
Influence. In that moment, JayZ was no longer untouchable. He was exposed. For years, the name Rymir hovered in the background of JayZ's carefully curated empire. Whispers that he might have a secret son. Murmurs and blogs. Lawsuits filed. Headlines dismissed. Stories swept under the rug. JayZ's team worked tirelessly to crush it, to paint it as lies, to frame it as opportunism, but Rymir never gave up. He carried his truth like a torch, determined to be heard, determined to stand against the weight of a machine built to silence him. And now, after all this time, he has been vindicated. The revelation is devastating, not just for JayZ, but for the image he has spent decades building, the image of a family man, the father who rapped about legacy, the husband who stood beside Beyoncé, the businessman who presented himself as a pillar of success. That image is shattered now, because behind the billionaire empire, behind the Grammy-winning songs, behind the mansions and private jets, lies the truth of a man who denied his own son for years. The gasps in the courtroom spoke louder than any headline. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. And there was JayZ, furious, unable to contain his emotions, yet
No, because before he was getting married to Beyonce, he was popping already.
That's true, but he got more popping with Beyonce.
But I can see why 50 Cent would say that. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand 50 Cent saying that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, JayZ, even if he might steal your songs, he might do all that, but JayZ is a rapping ass person. Like, he got drive, and he's smart. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, he's gonna bust a move out. I think it helped both of them being together. I think it helped both of them. It made both of them. You know what I mean? So like, 50 Cent supposed to say that though. Like,
Well, yeah, 50 Cent, he kind of started his career dissing JayZ.
Yeah, I remember. I was in New York when that song first came out. I was in New York and that shit came out. I was like, damn, who the fuck is this? I said, he got he dissed. I was like, he dissed him? Or was it Fat Joe? It was Big Pun, I think. Was it Big Pun?
No, I mean, How to Rob dissed everybody.
Yeah, I remember one person he dissed, like, I think it was Big Pun or Fat Joe. Somebody, I'm like, damn, he dissed.
It was Big Pun. He said, I'm Pun without a gun. Grab his piece and run.
Yeah,
You're weighing 400 pounds. They gonna catch me, son.
Yeah. That shit was catchy to come on like that. But 50 Cent got one song that he got that's like one of my favorite all-time songs called Many Men. That Many Men song, that shit like that. I played Many Men so much, my son was too little to really be able to talk, but he knew how to sing Many Men song. That's how much I played it. He knew every word to Many Men. And Akon, I'm locked up before he could even really could talk, you know what I mean?
Well, you got offered to be on Piers Morgan's show.
Yeah.
when they were talking about Diddy, but you actually turned him down.
I turned him down.
You know, and I've done Pierce Morgan, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times now.
I just feel like I didn't want to go in there talking about Diddy because I don't know Diddy personally, and I was like, man. But that was my first. I just did what first thing came to my mind. Like, no, I don't even know Diddy. What I'm gonna say? Like, you know what I mean? So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
But the fact that they even knew me, I'm like, y'all know me on the show.
They probably watch. Well, they watch Vlad TV, so they probably see you on my show. So you know,
I mean,
that's probably how it happened. A lot of people on my show.
But
got,
did you see? I think it's the girl like Tasha K. She got a joint JayZ son on there.
Oh, his alleged son?
No. If you talk to him personally, that's his son.
You think that's his son?
Yeah. You know what I think his son? First of all, JayZ offered him money. At first, he offered him bread, like, and everything, but his aunt, this is like his caretaker, didn't like approve of it. She said, no, JayZ got a lien on her house, all type of shit that was going on. Yeah, the lady put up paperwork and everything with his name on it and all that. I mean, but young boy's so thorough though. He just wanted dad. He not trying to get no money. He not trying to do none of that. I mean, that's why. So I told him when he called me 2 years ago, I said, listen, I don't want to be the one to tell your story because they're gonna think I'm trying to catch rep off of it. So let me let you tell your story somewhere else first. I mean, then I could talk about it. But he called me like 2 years ago, telling me like, I mean, I said, oh, young boy. He's like, I just want a dad. I don't want no money. I'm already 18. I think he was like 20 something at the time. I mean, but something happened to him, and I was like, yo, that sounds kind of weird. He said he was coming out from work, going to work, and there was a gun in his car. Like when he opened the door, he seen the gun. He said he went to go like call his man, like, yo, did you leave a gun in my car? His man's like, no. He said, why you on the phone talking to his man? The cops pull up and lock him up. He said, he told the cops, no, that's not my gun. He's like, so he went in the building he was in, and they seen that somebody pulled up and put the guns in his car. Oh. And pulled off. I said, bro, I don't know nobody in the hood that got guns to just waste like that to do that. I don't know what. He's like, yeah, so like JayZ had a gag order against him, like trying to get a gag order and trying to. And my thing is, if it's not my son, I'll just take a test, get over with. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you dodged it and whatever, to me, I don't know. I think his mom was underage or something when he was born, so I think that's probably. Oh. Yeah, I think that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
But like I said again, it's not the same as now.
But is his mom still alive?
No, she died. She died.
Huh.
She was 15 when she had him.
Oh. How old was Jay?
Like 20 something, I guess.
Oh.
Like 20, probably early 20, like 24.
Well, we don't know if it's true. This is just
but I'm saying he took the DNA thing with the it was ancestry type shit. I think like somebody popped up on it, like because you got different kids that's at different places. I mean, my thing is this: if I got $1 billion, right, I would want to have a lot of kids. Fuck it, you my kid. I got so much money, I don't give a fuck if you my kid or not.
You get some sperm. You get some sperm.
You get some sperm. If you are my kid, I fucked your mom, and you my kid. Even if I want to be around you, don't want to see you, don't want to. If I want the world to know,
right? But think about the headlines.
Think about this though.
Utterly speechless. For the first time in years, maybe decades, he wasn't in control. The man who controlled boardrooms, who negotiated billion-dollar deals, who built entire narratives around himself and his family, now sat powerless. The truth had caught up to him. And the truth doesn't just live in that courtroom. It ripples outward. Social media erupted instantly. Fans and critics alike rushed to weigh in, questioning how JayZ could stand for family in his music, how he could hold himself up as a model of black excellence, all while denying his own blood. Some defended him, some turned on him completely, but all agreed on one thing: this was no longer speculation. This was fact. For Rymir, this is both victory and heartbreak. A victory because the world finally knows the truth. A heartbreak because it took so long. Because the recognition he deserved as a child only comes to him now as a grown man. Years of being dismissed. Years of being ridiculed. Years of being shut out by the very man who should have protected him. Those scars don't heal.
Added with Tony Busby to JayZ, because remember, JayZ was one of the people he tried to go after. The whole bullshit 13-year-old story and everything else like that. And JayZ thought it was hilarious. He got a big kick out of that. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is between Nicki Minaj. I know that she said something about the son, JayZ's son.
Yeah, but he just dropped that lawsuit.
Of course he did.
But he said he's still going to file. I don't know. I don't think that's his son.
I do.
You do? Why do you say that?
Because I don't think JayZ would offer him no money at all if it wasn't his son.
I don't think he offered him money.
Yeah, he offered him money.
Really?
Yeah.
See, but sometimes, listen, you got to understand. You've never been sued, have you?
No.
I've been sued multiple times. Like, you reach a point where financially it makes sense to settle, right? Like, I had a lawsuit where she wanted like $600,000. It was like a former employee that came up with a whole bullshit, accusation that had nothing to do with me, and blah, blah, blah. It was just a whole bullshit situation. And ultimately, we got to the point where we spent about $75,000 already in legal fees. And she ultimately said, I'll take $75,000 to settle. So it was going to be like, all right, we've already spent $75,000. If we go to court, I'm going to spend probably another $300,000, and I could probably win because there's really nothing here. But do I want to? Once I spend the $300,000, I can't sue her. And get it back.
And even if you win, you still lost.
I still lost.
Yeah.
I won, but I've just spent $400,000, right? So do I want to just back up out of it with $75,000, or do I want to spend $400,000 to make a point? I don't have $400,000 to make a point. Jay got $400,000 to make a point.
Let me ask you a question though. If you pop somebody's mom, pop the lady, would you take the test?
What do you mean?
So say it's a kid like, yo, I think you might be my dad. You pop the mom, would you take? I'm asking you, would you take the test?
Well, the problem with this story is that they're saying the mom was underage.
I'm saying, but besides all I'm saying, it might be your son. But that part, like, all right, the mom of the age.
The underage part makes it all very dicey. See what I'm saying? Like,
so past the fact that might be your son.
What do you mean?
Like, so if it might be your son, like, because the mom was underage, you wouldn't want to find out?
I mean, if it's going to ruin your whole life.
I don't think it'll ruin his whole life.
You made a very bad decision 30 years ago.
But your son? So you see, my thing is this, I'm not running from, if it's my son, I want to know.
Yeah, listen, I get it, right? And I have kids
Especially
as well.
If I got $1 billion, I'm not.
I have kids as well, you know, and I think it's a very hard choice because it's just, and the mom is dead at this point.
Yeah,
so, but then again,
it's not hard for me.
You're gonna, you know, if Jay takes that DNA test and it proves to be positive, he's gonna be Jay the pedophile, right?
But don't your kids come before you? They supposed to.
They're supposed to.
So imagine you had a kid out here, the mom died when he was about 10, 11 years old. He's been out here by himself, right?
Look.
Would you care about your image more than a possible seed that's yours?
I think Jay cares about his image.
Of course you know what I'm saying. But most men, I don't think, if you take 100 men, I take 50-50. It'd be 50-50.
I don't know, man.
Especially if you already 50-something years old. It ain't like you 10, 20, 25.
It's JayZ. He's married to Beyonce. He's got a huge company. He's got...
With a piece of paper. The paternity test gives him validation, but it cannot give him back what was stolen. And then there's the question of legacy. JayZ has built an empire rooted in family. The Carter name is more than just a name, it's a brand, a symbol. Blue Ivy, Sir, and Rymir are presented as heirs to a dynasty. But how does the dynasty look now, when a son has been proven to exist outside of it? A son who was kept in the shadows while the world celebrated the children in the spotlight? This revelation doesn't just affect JayZ's personal life, it strikes at the very core of his empire. The industry is buzzing with questions. How will this affect his businesses, his partnerships, his image? Brands that attach themselves to his name for credibility, respect, and legacy must now reconcile with the fact that their figurehead was hiding the most personal of lies. For years, he has been a symbol of control and strategy, but this one revelation shows that even the most carefully built empires can collapse under the weight of truth. And what about Beyoncé? That's the question everyone is asking. Beyoncé, who has built her own empire of power and perfection, now faces a revelation that shakes the foundation of the image they have built together. Will she stand by him? Will she remain silent? Or will this be the one scandal?
Cases against him as a DA in Manhattan, and he's gone on to do incredible things. But he has a very specific style, and there's a lot of people who don't like that style. And Judge Torres is one of them. He's now twice kind of taken the reins and tried to take control of the narrative of cases by putting on sort of these preemptive press conferences. He did it with Mayor Adams, and he did it now with JayZ, where he goes to the press and essentially puts on a PowerPoint and says, hey, this is why I think this case is garbage. This is all the inconsistencies. This is where this case fails. But it's obviously from his point of view. And so the judge doesn't like that. You know, the other side of that, especially as for me as a defense attorney, is, well, that's what the DAs do every time they make a big arrest. That's what the federal prosecutors do every time they make a big arrest. They go in front of the camera and they put on this sort of dog and pony show press conference to like tell the nation why this is such a just arrest, why this is such a just prosecution, and to try to get public opinion behind them as they move forward in the case. It's really Alex Spiro doing the exact opposite thing to help his client, but the judge really didn't like it. And so all of that is to say that this ruling to me is specifically directed at Alex Spiro saying, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like all the motions you're filing. I don't like how you're going about handling this case. And if you continue to do it, you're not the only one who's got some tricks up their sleeve. I can also do things to make this process more difficult.
Yeah, the second half of this motion was kind of crazy. She really called him out. I thought it was really interesting to go through the motion and read it. And it sounds like it was a major tactic on his side to do these press conferences, as you said, file these motions. So if he doesn't stop doing that and just continues bombarding her with all of these motions, what sort of response could the judge have?
If I'm being honest, not much. I mean, the federal court system has a lot of power, and the judges there have a lot of power, and they demand a level of respect that that sometimes judges in state court don't demand. And I say respect, actually, it's more formality. They demand a formality in the process, and so they can do these things, and they can make your life very difficult. But they don't have a lot of leverage, especially over someone like Alex Spiro, who works at a private firm. The judges can't stop him from continuing to bring in a stream of business. And the reality is that even though this victim's name has been continued to be made anonymous for the public for now, that just cannot continue. Because what the judge is doing currently is balancing the public's need for information and the defense's need for information so they can prepare for trial versus the effect that this will have on the alleged victim and her psyche. And obviously the world knows that as soon as her name is revealed, everyone is going to come down on her, from the media to to his attorneys to the social media. You're going to get it from all sides. And so she's doing this victim, the alleged victim, a favor right now by keeping her anonymous, but it's just not practical. So if he keeps doing this, getting back to your question, if he keeps filing these motions, if he keeps making the process difficult, she could sanction him, but she would really have to prove that his motions were not just frivolous, but almost malicious. But ultimately, she's going to have to sign off on revealing the identity of this alleged victim. And there's nothing that's going to stop that from happening if this case continues to move forward.
Let's talk a bit more about Jane Doe and her identity yet to be revealed, because as of right now, we just have Jane Doe. But if we refer back to previous cases, there was another Jane Doe case. We just recently learned her name, Anna Kane. It came out, the judge ruled. So do you think it's
too damaging to ignore? Because this isn't about cheating. This isn't about rumors of affairs. This is about family. This is about a son who was denied, a truth that was buried, and a revelation that changes everything. JayZ's fury in that courtroom was about more than embarrassment. It was about losing control. For his entire career, JayZ has been the master of his story. He's written lyrics that shaped generations, moved in silence to build billion-dollar deals, and silenced scandals with the stroke of a lawyer's pen. But this time, he couldn't silence the truth. This time, the truth silenced him. The silence in the courtroom mirrored the silence online before the chaos began, because in that moment, as JayZ sat furious and speechless, everyone realized the magnitude of what had just happened. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't a rumor. This wasn't a blog headline to be dismissed. This was truth, confirmed and sealed. For Rymir, the confirmation was both vindication and tragedy. Vindication, because he had fought for years against a machine so much larger than him. And finally, the world saw that he wasn't lying. But tragedy, because the truth didn't undo the years of abandonment. The years of watching a man who could have been his father live in wealth and power while he struggled for recognition. The scars don't vanish just because the truth is proven. And for JayZ, the empire shakes, every secret carefully locked away, every deal signed with the confidence of a man untouchable, now feels fragile, because when one secret collapses, others often follow. What else has been buried? What else will come to light? The music industry is buzzing. Insiders whispering about how this will affect not only his reputation,
on trying to move this case forward as fast as possible. They want this case resolved and done as fast as possible. Now, sometimes that's just puffery, but we'll see as this case goes on. If you see a continuance of Mr. Spiro's sort of pursuing getting this to trial quickly, then that's going to shorten up the timeline. A lot of times attorneys ask for more time to review discovery, to prepare, to find witnesses. But in this case, it sounds like they want to push this as fast as possible. So the closer we get to a hearing or a trial that has some sort of meaningful result attached to it, then the judge will be forced to turn over, not turn over, the judge will be forced to reverse her decision and make the name public.
Something we have to remember from this specific Jane Doe lawsuit is it gave us the bombshell revelation of JayZ's involvement. So when it was first filed, he was simply Celebrity A, and there's a Celebrity B, but we didn't know who he was. Now we know it's JayZ. It's been amended to actually have his name in there, Sean Carter. But there's still Celebrity B, a female celeb. We don't know who she is. Do you think her identity could be revealed?
You know, that's going to be probably up to Tony Busby, the attorney for the plaintiff. Clearly, they're trying to use these sort of Celebrity A pseudonyms as leverage. And you can see what happened when they put Sean Carter in there. I think it was first filed in October, and then they put him in only a few weeks ago on December 8th. And look what we're doing now. We're talking about it. It's in the news. It kind of had died down, the specific allegations. It was more just sort of an umbrella story about Diddy and what his parties meant and sort of what they mean right now in the legal world and in the world of media. But now that they've added JayZ's name specifically to it, it's obviously getting a whole new wave of attention and more focused attention on this victim. So I think it's going to be tied to the media cycle, if I had to guess, and how these rulings continue. And they have this celebrity name that is sort of waiting to take over the headlines when they choose to release it. So I think it will be added, but it's going to be a strategic time.
What about additional lawsuits? Because Tony Busby, the name you've been mentioning a lot, has said, he said there were thousands of allegations, but he says he's going to file more than 100 civil lawsuits. So we obviously know that P. Diddy is going to be involved in this, but could JayZ, could other celebrities that have yet to be named?
Yeah, of course. Just put a dartboard up, put any celebrity you want on there and just throw a dart. And any one of them could be involved. I mean, how many people have you heard named that were at these parties? Like, these were synonymous. When you said party, Hollywood party in the early 2000s, Diddy was synonymous with that. There's a sketch you can find online of the opening scene to the VMAs, right? The MTV Video Music Awards. The whole point of the sketch is that everyone was at a Diddy party. The whole thing is surrounded about glorifying Diddy's parties. And so everyone who was hot during that time period was at one of these parties. I mean, JayZ, LeBron James, Ashton Kutcher. I mean, the list is endless of celebrities who were there. But obviously being there has no association with this type of wrongdoing. This is so beyond the pale of attending a party. And so, yeah, I mean, you could see anybody's name, but please keep in mind that just attending a party does not mean you were involved in some litany of sexual assaults on a minor or an adult. So I wonder, as this goes on, I think we're going to start seeing more stories on both sides. You just saw from Blake Lively, which is a completely separate story, but you can see from her and what's come about her recently that if you want to do a smear campaign against someone, there are firms out there. That's their whole job. And I think what we're learning right now is it's not that difficult. You get a few people and a few key pieces, and you can really turn the tide of public opinion. So now we're also starting to see,
but also his business moves, partnerships built on image, brand deals rooted in legacy and respect. Will they hold? Or will this revelation fracture the trust and admiration that took decades to build? And make no mistake, this moment will not be forgotten. This is not a scandal that fades in a week. This is not a rumor that disappears with time. This is a revelation that will follow JayZ for the rest of his life. One that Rymir will carry as proof of everything he endured. One that fans will remember every time JayZ raps about family, loyalty, or legacy. Because how can you speak of legacy while denying your own blood? How can you rap about loyalty while leaving your son to fight for recognition on his own? The truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deep it's buried. Money can delay it, lawyers can fight it, influence can suppress it, but eventually, the truth finds its way to the light. And in this case, it has shattered one of the most carefully constructed images in the history of hip-hop. JayZ, the mogul, the legend, the billionaire, now faces the reality of his own choices. Furious, speechless, exposed, the dynasty may continue, but it will forever be haunted by the revelation of a son he tried to hide, a son named Rymir, who refused to be silenced, and who now stands as living proof that no amount of power can erase the truth. And that is the story the world will never forget, because empires can be built on power, money, and influence, but all it takes is one truth, one revelation, to bring it all crashing down. And for JayZ, that truth is here. His hidden secret has been revealed, and his silence says it all.